success and to the level of, I guess you should say, the caliber of a comedian that you would need to be to have Tom Myers as a guest. But, I was able to message Tom Myers on Facebook. This did happen. I messaged Tom Myers and I said, hey, I'm from Maryland. I'm thinking about doing some open mic. And Tom got back to me.
No shit.
Yeah. Well, Tom, what else is he going to do all day? I mean, he is a waiter at his brother's restaurant, and he hosts a podcast. So this is pretty much what he said. Okay, his response to me from saying, hello, I'm aspiring comic in Maryland looking for open mics. Could you give me any recommendations? And he said, write, and make sure you have punchlines. If you're funny, you will get booked. About 99% of success in comedy is luck. Have fun. So what's really funny is when Tom Myers tells me to write, we all know he's very verbose in his writing. This fucking guy never stops writing a joke. But the issue is,
I mean, maybe it feels like a long shot, but maybe you I would see if you get him to come on here. I don't know if he would, but I feel like
I don't think he would. He would see that there are 0 people in the room, and I'm pretty sure he would dismiss himself because he would think we were. Look, he's one of those guys who he has been made fun of and has been trolled for so long that he's kind of developed a sort of a defense, at this. He can tell what's going on. So if he sees a couple of guys with 0 viewers,
I mean,
we're goofing on him.
I mean, if he's he's not really getting any claps or laughs at the fucking places he's performing at. That might as well be 0 views, right? I mean, if you're getting 0 feedback, I mean,
Jim.
I'm sorry.
There is no video component for this podcast, but one thing that we can rely on here is that Tom Myers versus the rest of the world is back. It's on Thursdays at 10 p.m., Mondays at 11 p.m. This is a live show, keep in mind. I'm not sure who is listening at that particular time.
What's the number?
What we are going to do is we're going to dip our toes in this real quick, and we're going to see just what it's all about, because I don't believe you have ever endured any Tom Myers versus the rest of the world. So we got to do this.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to Tom Myers versus the rest of the world. A lot's happened this week. Mark Robinson, the Republican running for governor of North Carolina, was found to have commented on posts on a porn website. This is according to CNN. On one of these posts, he proclaimed, "I'm a black Nazi," in all caps. All caps is the surefire way to reassure someone, yes, I'm definitely racist. Following the news, the campaign had a staff shakeup. They're getting some...
Okay. You want me to? We need to break this down a little bit here, Jim, because there's a lot to unpack.
Wow.
Yeah. So Mark Robinson. Okay, just to catch you up to speed real quick. Mark Robinson. He is a black lieutenant governor of North Carolina.
Yep.
Okay. And allegedly on a porn website, an account that's linked to him has been, I don't know how you word this, but I guess a screenshot of a comment linked to this account on like Pornhub or something is saying, "Oh, I'm a black Nazi." So there's a lot going on here. According to CNN, it says, I just found this so fascinating. Mark Robinson, the controversial and socially conservative Republican nominee for governor of North Carolina, made a series of inflammatory comments on a pornography website's message board more than a decade ago. And I guess this is now just being unearthed during the election cycle. Apparently, he referred to himself as a black Nazi. He expressed support of reinstating slavery. And also, I mean, this can't be real, right? There's no way.
There can't be. Why would you go on a what? While you're whacking one off, you're just like, wouldn't it be funny if they just reinstated slavery?
What?
Oh
man!
Different news. He was doing that.
It's like, yeah, you know, it would be hotter than this threesome. Some smallpox blankets. Let's get on it, ladies.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm going to keep reading this article because it just gets better. Despite a recent history of anti-transgender rhetoric, Robinson has said he enjoyed watching transgender pornography. A review of archive messages found in which he also refers to himself as a perv. The comments, which Robinson denies making, predate his entry into politics and his current stint as North Carolina's lieutenant governor. They were made under the username that CNN was able to identify as Robinson by matching the litany of biographical details and shared email address to him and this other, him and this alias account. And down here, there is an array of accounts connecting all of these together, being this ghostly Mark Robinson account, this mini soldier spelled this way here. What a dumbass. So many of Robinson's comments were gratuitously sexual and lewd in nature. They were made between 2008 and 2012 on, are you ready for this, Jim? On Nude Africa, a pornographic website that includes a message board that I guess is all African American videos. And yeah, this guy, holy Moses. So
I have to point out, thank you, CNN, for telling me that someone made lewd and sexual comments on a pornography website. Here I thought, like, I don't know, that felt like, what do you go on pornography websites for? Like, going on there going like, oh, I hope everyone has a blessed day. Now I'm going to go bust a nut. Get the fuck out of here. Come on, man.
He's making sure that they're filming in ungentrified neighborhoods, Jim. That's why he's over there. He's making sure that there's a nice little coffee shop across from where some chick's getting double fisted. To be very honest with you, have you ever looked at the comment section on some of those videos? It's usually just Hispanic guys and people saying, who is this? Whose name is this? I mean, it's not really, not that I'm looking at comments, but from what I can remember of it, it's not really monumental stuff.
No, or like people are like, oh my God, the acting is terrible. It's just like, you're there for the acting. Stop. You're not there for the acting.
They're never commenting on that. They're not commenting on that. They're wanting to know the girl's name. They're wanting to see more videos of the girl. Yeah. There is nobody talking about slavery in comments. I mean, that is crazy.
Yeah.
So there's some pornography message board, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's talking about all sorts of things. Anyway, the article gets better. I'm going to continue this. Yet privately under the username A Mini Soldier on Nude Africa, Robinson graphically described his own sexual arousal as an adult from the memory of secretly peeping in on women in public gym showers as a 14-year-old boy.
Oh, 14. I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's
I
good.
know.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Here
here's
I'm the way that this article is sounding like he was doing it now, but he was 14. Jesus Christ.
you know what? Honestly, I want to know something because these comments were made in 2000. What is this? 2008 to 2012. How old is this guy? Because hold on here. I don't know how old this guy is.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's 56 years old.
Oh,
guess.
for fuck's sake.
I guess,
Really?
yeah, so he was well into adulthood when he was
I
making.
see. Nope. Now I know what CNN's doing with this fucking article here. It's a bunch of it's a bunch of shit. Like I'm not saying that
Oh no.
I know what CNN's doing now. It's this guy is a conservative. Now we have to fucking go dig up the dark dredges of his past and throw it back in his face, as if the person writing that article is a saint at 14. Get the fuck out of here, man. I look. I'm not saying it's weird, and I'm not saying being a sexual deviant, even as a teen, is great. But you're gonna tell me that at the age of 56, he still holds those same values and virtues and all that? Come
Right, and
on.
too, as we go on here, and again, this is as of 2010. So we have to think about this. That would mean, okay, that what would that be? 14 years ago. So at the age of 42, he was making comments. Okay, are you ready for some of these message board comments he was making?
Oh, great. Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm not in the KKK. They don't let blacks join. If I was in the KKK, I would have called him Martin Luther Coon. These are the sorts of things.
That's
So what I want to know is this. Do you think he's on a message board anonymously, kind of trolling and being habitually online like a lot of if you go on Reddit, you will see a lot of anonymous people saying
okay.
a lot of cringy shit.
All right. Here's the thing, though. There's a difference between going on Reddit, being anonymous, or fuck, even if you have a username on there. Like, if you're gonna troll, go on Reddit or something like that. Why go to a porn site to fucking troll? It's just so.
It's just so wild because
It's bizarre.
okay, so on Nude Africa, this gets even better. Okay, but okay, so there was a post that was made on September 16th, 2011, at 10:40 a.m. So this guy on a Friday morning at 10 o'clock is posting on Nude Africa. I mean, just as a kid, just to paint the picture. Here, let me go ahead and share this screen with you so you can see what I'm seeing. Because this is, I don't think CNN will give a shit for this. I hope not. Okay, so look. So on this message board here, he says, married 21 years happily with no bullshit or begging for 21 years, whatever that means. Who posts that on a porn site? Who talks about their marriages on porn sites?
Okay, all right. That one's not as weird. You'd be surprised at the amount of married people who go on sites like that and just talk about it. That's not entirely like out of
I feel like
character.
the last but Adult Friend Finder. Okay, he's on Adult Friend Finder. He's making posts here. You know what? I don't want to be. This is what I'm going to do. I don't want to be hit by Facebook.
Yeah, we might.
If we were on YouTube,
we
hold
probably
on a minute
will.
here. I'm interested. I don't want to. I hope what I'm about to search is not like awful. Okay, never mind. Okay, yeah. So I typed in that website, this nudeafrica.com, and I'm getting the attackers might be trying to steal your information.
Ah,
Not gonna do that. I wasn't gonna put it on the screen anyway.
I would hope not. Jesus
No,
Christ.
no, my goodness.
Fuck, we're trying to get us fucking the Facebook to shut us down. Jesus Christ.
No, I was gonna just try to see what this, because I'm assuming that this is no longer a site. There's no way this can be. But God, what a guy.
Yeah, that's a way to describe it.
So anyway, so now that we have some background on this guy, this is what the the fucking incomparable Tom Myers has to say about it.
Oh boy.
Okay, but that's the only thing that he had for that guy.
That's it? Jesus Christ.
You could have scrolled through the entire thing. This guy is talking about being a Klansman and all this wild shit on a porn message board site.
Yeah.
And the only thing you have to do, oh, he's racist. That's it. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's not the angle I would have been focusing on. I would focus on why on a porn site.
Right.
Look, you're gonna be a real degenerate. Go to 4chan, you stupid fuck. Jesus Christ,
We could have talked about Martin Luther Cool. That whole joke, that wasn't he couldn't have pulled from that.
That was, like, that's the best name you came up with. I'm not gonna say anything because they'll get us shut down, but I could come up with names for that.
I mean, he could have dissected it a little bit further.
Oh, it's like,
but anyway.
Yeah.
Oh
Jeez.
Man, let's hear what else old Tommy here is saying, shall we? Just a little bit more.
The news, the campaign had a staff shakeup. They're getting some new people in charge of the campaign, and they're even rebranding themselves with a new slogan: Ein Volk, ein Reich, ein Money Shot.
God.
Mark Robinson's alleged username on the site was Mini Soldier, which is a name he likely picked up after getting turned on by small penis humiliation videos. Of course, true to MAGA form, the word soldier was misspelled.
Oh,
a lot of Republicans are starting to distance themselves from Mark Robinson.
Jim, did you pick up on that?
Yeah, I got
it. Supporters are all stupid and they can't spell.
Yeah, if you're a MAGA fan or a conservative, you have the IQ of my waist size. Yeah, I get it. It's funny.
Yeah, woohoo. Ha ha ha.
The Republican Governors Association has said they will no longer air ads in that state supporting him. Of course, there are a lot of reasons not to support Mark Robinson, but it's odd that the final straw for the RGA was making an adult website not fun. Olivia Newsy, the Washington correspondent for New York Magazine, was placed on leave after it was revealed that she had sent explicit photographs of herself to former presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It says something when the guy who cut off a dead whale's head and transported it on the roof of his car thinks to himself, this is too fucking weird to talk about.
Oh my God, Tom. No.
Jesus. I mean, it's
okay.
the transition from the first one to the second one. That was it's quite the transition.
This is the problem with Tom, is that unless if you read every single news story, unless if you have your eyes glued to NBC and CNN and all of these other channels, you're not going to know what the fuck he's talking about. Do you know that Robert F. Kennedy had the parasitic worm in his head? You remember that from months ago?
Yeah.
Well, and also that last joke that he said about the reporter sending Robert F. Kennedy, a married man, keep in mind, some
Explicit
naughty photographs of herself, the last thing you're gonna do is talk about that publicly.
Yeah, that's the type of thing you don't. That's the type of thing you solve in private. Not not everything, not every detail of a politician needs to come to light. And if he's not acting on it, it's best for him to deal with that in private. If he's acting on it, then absolutely out him for it. But if he's not really acting on it, yeah, it's not really worth talking about. It's someone being,
I mean,
yeah, that's
personally, I do find Tom Myers funny. I personally do. I do think that there is an aura to him that if in the right audience and within the right subject matter, Tom can be a funny guy. I just think that he spends so much time reading all these stories and he's trying to compile them into 1 minute, little quips. Just have a whole set about Mark Robinson.
yeah.
I mean, there's so much about this guy. As a matter of fact, Jim, before we move on all together, you want to see a picture of this fucking Robinson guy?
Yeah, let's do it.
He's exactly who you thought he was, by the way.
Uncle Ruckus.
Oh, just wait.
It's where my mind went with all the comments he's making. I'm like, God, you are an Uncle Ruckus, aren't you? Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm just trying to get a picture of him, like a good. Here you go. Hold on. I'm just gonna. You know what, do? I'm just gonna steal it. I'm just gonna have to save it.
Mhm.
Hold on. Here, this is what I'll have to do it. I'll just do it this way. Hold on. Come on, you piece of shit. Here he is.
Oh Christ, that is about what I expected. Jesus. Oh boy. Yep.
Oh, so imagine him saying that. Oh, I want to join the kitty. That's what he said. He said he's not a Klansman because they don't allow them in.
That's why I said
Wild.
Uncle Ruckus. That's what I called him.
Oh, I'm not going to play that. That's NBC News. I'm not going
Yeah,
down
let's
that.
not do that again. Fuck.
I'm not falling for that shit. Yeah, NBC doesn't fuck around. Anyway, so you and I used to be big Howard Stern fans. You grew up in New York. I kind of fell into Stern when I got out of high school. I listened to the back catalog for hours on YouTube. But as you and I now know, Howard is not the guy that he used to be. As a matter of fact, he is a parody of his former self. Um, and these days, he has a lot of left-leaning celebrities on. He spouts off a lot of left-leaning talking points. Look, Howard's always been, pretty much a hipster and all, but he used to be like anti-government.
He was
He
great.
had no interest in discussing politics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would have been the last thing on his mind. But now, this post-COVID, Hollywood isolationist Howard Stern now has him interviewing Kamala Harris. And just look how he is absolutely. He's falling over his feet for this woman. Watch.
Narcissist. And here the other guy is playing the bat dance for Madam Vice President. But we'll listen to this for a second. First of all, it's me, Howard. I'm here on a special day. I was supposed to have a day off.
Okay. So under or over? Is that wig applied on top of his head, or is it braided into his scalp? Because you know that shit's not real.
Graded into a scalp.
you think so?
I think so. 100%.
Oh yeah. And like a dude came over from Turkey and did this in his apartment too.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah. Took a stale bread roll and said, "There's your payment. Get the fuck out."
It's just correct. Yeah, here's $20,000. Get out of my house.
Yeah.
I'd only come in for the Vice President of the United States because right now is my nap time.
I'll try not to fall asleep during this interview.
Do you nap at all?
Yeah.
Not
You're
really.
the one
Wish
who's trying not to fall asleep.
I could. I don't
can't-
mind, like in a different life, sometimes on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah.
I know. Look what you. By the way, I'm playing Bat Dance because I knew you were a Prince fan.
Yes.
But I believe I'm a huge Prince fan. But I believe that the Batman sound.
This is what we're doing.
Yep. That's why I said I can only.
This woman is about to be spoon-fed the presidential seat. And you were asking her about what her favorite Prince song is.
It's like I said, I can only make it through two minutes of it because I can't watch an hour and 4 minutes of Howard Stern glazing Kamala. It's no different than any other fucking interview she's been in for the most part. Like, I'm not saying be a complete dick to her, but you gotta push. Like, you gotta push her on shit, man. It can't be a fucking like it just like
right. And I'm
it's
gonna finish.
It's a softball interview. That's what it is.
Oh, it's a softball. It's a mess. It's him. It is him kissing her ass, her feet, and her lips, all at once. And so what we're gonna do? I'm gonna finish the intro, and then I'm gonna kind of bounce around because I watched this whole fucking thing today. So we'll go ahead and just continue on here.
Soundtrack was his best work. It was genius. Yes. Think about it. Listen to this.
Go with a smile.
You didn't do it for you.
No. I mean, like, obviously, like 1999, I thought was spectacular. You can go back to his early days.
Yeah.
But like him on the guitar, there was just nothing like it. And so many people have.
I mean,
even you look at Bruno Mars today, right?
You know what's interesting? Okay. And they're going to start talking about different musicians and whatnot and wasting time. In no way, if you had Donald Trump in there talking about his favorite musicians, people would be bitching about it.
Yeah.
They would be coming after Howard as to why he didn't, ask him about, Project 2025 or whatever.
They would treat him in the same way people treat Joe Rogan when he had like Ben Shapiro and people like that on there. It's just like, well, what do you want? It's a case of if it's someone you like, you don't care. Well, it's someone you don't like, you throw a fit. Like, I don't like Adam Conover, but when he was on Joe Rogan, I enjoyed it because he looked like an idiot for like 3 fucking hours, and I enjoyed every second of it. It was great.
Yeah.
It's the most hated episode for sure, but I enjoyed watching that man stutter over his words for 3 hours because he's an idiot.
So something that Howard does every single day on his show now. Howard talks about COVID. Howard talks about Donald Trump, and Howard talks about how what doom and gloom our country will have fallen over it if he were to get into office. So here is Howard inserting himself into the conversation.
Yeah.
Emotional thing. It makes me think of you because you've said sort of running for office, even when you ran, as a DA or attorney general, you said, I don't like talking about myself.
Yeah.
It feels I was raised not to be a narcissist. And here the other guy is so only talking about himself.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh,
weird. It's odd
Christ.
for you to talk about your accomplishments and sort of congratulate yourself.
I just
Howard never stops talking about himself.
Yeah, what the fuck? Look, there's a difference. Okay, there's a difference between someone who's just, if you bring the conversation back to yourself enough times, sure. But if I'm running for official office, yeah, it makes sense that I tell the people of this country what I've accomplished. It's a little weird if you don't mention what your accomplishments are. What's your track in politics? If you don't have your track in politics, what's your track in, like, you have to build a case for yourself why you would not only just be a presidential candidate, but a candidate for any position or office.
Right.
Like,
And
it's
right. And Howard continues on with his sky is falling syndrome over the Republicans and Donald Trump. And he starts asking Kamala, okay, let me just get to it.
have always, again, apparently I'm doing right now.
Right. But you have to, right? I mean, this isn't you're running for office.
And a friend of mine actually said, look, this is not a time to worry about modesty because this is, obviously you got to let people know who you are.
When you said you don't nap, I get it because like what you've taken on is extraordinarily difficult. And I mean, do you feel the pressure of the moment in the sense that, like, when I met you out in the hall, I said, I'm really nervous because I want this to go well for you.
oh
I want it to go
Christ.
well for the country. Even when I watch them on Saturday Night Live with where they have Maya Rudolph playing you,
Mhm.
I hate it. I don't want you being made fun of.
Oh, fuck off. Are you
There's so much at
insane?
stake. I believe the
Fuck
entire
off.
future of this country
Pause
right
this
now.
quick.
I mean, there's
I
enough.
gotta do this. I gotta do this quick. Fuck off. So look. So what he's basically saying is that it's okay when SNL made a skit about Trump. It was a good skit, by the way. I enjoyed that skit. But when they made a skit about her, it's a problem. Why? Like,
This is what I can't figure out. This is
why?
what I can't figure out, Jimmy. How have we went 3.5 years and no one was talking about Kamala? She talks about being a woman of color and etc. I don't remember her going to any like historical black colleges and giving speeches. And I remember seeing her on TV giving a lot of speeches at events or anything. She kind of fell into the background. She would giggle at her own guilt, and she was kind of just this big joke. And all of a sudden now, we can't even satirize her. We
Yeah,
have to,
that's
yeah.
that's why I lost it there, because I've just, it's insane. It's like like it's either all of it's okay or none of it is. If you can't satirize her, then you can't satirize Trump. And I say satirize them both. Fuck them. Like, you think you're immune to satire? Like, why, man? They don't.
You know, Paul's the way that it is. Is it just me, or is Howard really beginning to look like his mom?
Ah, fuck.
He just looks like an old Jewish woman, doesn't he? He's
That's
just an
where
old yen.
That's probably where the wig from Turkey came off. If they stripped it off the Jewish of it.
America landed
It was scalped right off of her.
the free,
Yep.
home of the brave. I think it's literally on the line.
I agree with you.
And-
Oh,
Oh
okay.
my god.
Did you hear what Howard just said?
Yep.
He believes that look, Trump was president. Okay, I'm just going to say this here. Do I think that Trump is a mediocre candidate? Yes, I do. Do I believe that his message and his interests could have been perpetuated at a much more fluent capacity? Yeah, sure. We could talk about wanting maybe RFK or wanting maybe Tulsi Gabbard, but we're not going to get into that right now. We're not. I'm not trying to make this a political show. That's not what we're here to do. But the problem is why is everybody thinking that the sky is falling? Trump was already in office for 4 years. He never became a dictator. Freedom wasn't freedom wasn't up for grabs. The world didn't end. Gays weren't put in jail. None of this crazy stuff was going on. It wasn't a war on women. None of that happened. But yet we continue to hear about all of the awful things that will happen to everybody if a guy gets back in office that did none of those things the first time.
It's like being a doomsday prophet.
Yeah, it's like those guys that will you remember that old show Doomsday Preppers where the guys would go around and they would
Yep.
try to sell like their ready kits and things.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see them, how did you react to the Saturday Night Live bit?
Well, I just saw it actually, and it was funny. I am a huge fan of Maya Rudolph's. I think she put a lot of time into doing the piece.
Oh, look at that. You know what it comes down to?
You know what? I'll say this much. I will give her that. I believe she actually thought. I believe it. I believe she thought it was funny. I'll give her
When's
that.
the last time Howard can make fun of everybody else, but when's the last time that he has really had a good laugh at himself?
You can't anymore because then you're gonna get called a anti-Semite. Yeah. So,
and the character. But to your point, I literally lose sleep and have been over what is at stake in this election. I mean, honestly, I end the day pretty much every day these days asking myself, what can I do more?
Yeah. And what can
the
you do?
stakes are so high.
You're going out. You're coming here. You went on The View this morning.
Yeah.
You're going to the shows. You did 60 Minutes. By the way, I thought what was so amazing about 60 Minutes
oh my
is the
god.
fact
we're going to skip through this because he's just licking her ass.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's kink praising. It's praise kink.
Right. Well, we're going to skip ahead. He begins asking her about her time as a prosecutor, and it's kind of fucking boring. Well, we're going to get back to the Supreme Court appointees, and once again, Howard the sky is falling. If Trump gets in. By the way, Donald Trump, he made like 30 appearances on the Howard Stern show. He was on so much back in the day.
Yep. But Howard didn't care in those days because he wasn't a doom and gloom prophet.
Here we go.
Goes, F you. You're not appointing anyone to the Supreme Court, basically. You're the sitting president of the United States. The basic unfairness of that makes me insane. It makes me feel like America's going down the tubes. How can this be? The president could not appoint a Supreme Court justice, and now we have a Supreme Court. You know what? You want to get an abortion, you don't want to get an abortion. I trust any woman to make that decision for herself. What is this? I don't want Donald Trump and his party deciding. I don't want Clarence Thomas deciding.
But here's the thing that is, again, really important that people understand about who Donald Trump is.
Oh,
He
Christ.
hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court to do exactly what they did, take away the right of an individual to make decisions about their own body. Like, I ask people to take a step back. Let's just think about it this way.
The way that they talk about it, you would think they said they couldn't wear shorts. Like
Yeah.
after Labor Day, no more shorts.
Yeah, it's like they're acting like the second if you're a woman, you step outside your front door, there's going to be like a sentry drone scanning you to see if what you're wearing is approved or not.
We're literally just talking about haphazardously aborting babies for no good reason. I don't think any state has a zero tolerance. I'm pretty sure anywhere you go, you are there's parameters to this. It's not like a rape cases and incest cases and danger to the mother. Those scenarios, ectopic pregnancies, all of those scenarios are covered by 99%, if not 100% of these state laws that prohibit abortions later on. Again, I don't know statistics. Sorry, what were you saying, Jim?
I like the way, like, when it comes to the whole abortion thing, I like Dave Chappelle and like Bill Burr's like approach on it. Like the way that Dave Chappelle put it in his skit was, he was just like, all right, when it comes to women, my body, my choice, but when it comes to men, my wallet, my choice. It's fair enough, right? And then I think Bill Burr, I'm trying to remember the skit. I think it was like, fuck, I don't want to misrepresent it, but it was like, it was pretty funny. But, the way that they put it is just like, you know what? My body, my choice. But like, you know, uh, I think, like I said, Dave Chappelle, I think, put it best with the whole my body, my choice, for women, and then when it comes to men, my wallet, my choice. I
Well,
stand.
my thing is that obviously I don't like the trend that's going on now with men justifying being deadbeats either. But that's not really the
Of
point of
course,
this.
no,
The
I
point
agree.
of this is I don't know of any state. Like, it seems like they're making this into an issue that it really isn't. And but anyway, I want to. I don't want to spend too much more time on this because I do want to get to one more thing before we're done here. So we're going to listen to the rest of this clip and just hear how Howard responds to her.
Let's, whatever your gender,
Right.
and it's not about abortion. You have basically now a system that says
Oh, whatever you see, she had to throw that in there. The whatever you're, doesn't matter.
It's
you as an individual do not have the right to make a decision about your own body. The government has the right to make that decision for you. So regardless of how you feel about abortion, think about what that means. The strength of
It's the government telling you to not. I mean, you can still.
my understanding is that they removed it from the federal government and they put it in the hands of the state.
Right.
The hands of the states. I thought on paper that was just like, why would you, like, that was something I never understood about it. They're talking about, well, now the government's telling what to do. No, my understanding is that it left the house of like the federal government is what I thought it was. Was my understanding.
of America includes that we have been committed as Americans, as part of our spirit, to the expansion of rights. And
Right.
for the first time, we're seeing a restriction of rights, fundamental rights, including what could be more fundamental than to make decisions about your own body. And that's what has happened. And Howard, to your point, look, this is not this issue is not about trying to convert people, right?
Right.
Because one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree.
Right.
The government shouldn't be telling her what to do with her body. She will talk with her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government
Well, here's
telling
what
her
I
what to
worry about.
do.
You got a guy who says probably you don't really need to vote if I win. You got a guy who says, hey, we're not stopping here. You know gay rights are next.
Yeah.
You know it.
Oh my
Oh
God.
Christ!
He's
Stop.
talking about Clarence Thomas. Literally nobody else on the Supreme Court is interested in doing that.
No,
It's not even a topic of conversation.
no, it's not. It's look. I'll close with this for that topic. I think if I think people would consider taking the pro-choice stance more seriously if you didn't cite extreme cases as a norm. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if like, let's like, that's how I look at it, because I'm the type of guy to where I see, and I don't want to say I'm a fence sitter, but I understand the pro-life stance, but I also understand the
Of course.
pro-choice stance. I understand both sides. I think there is a validity. On one hand, I think there are cases or situations in which, yeah, I think an abortion, I think, is necessary. But on the other hand, there are cases of just with the pro-life stance. I think it is a fair question. Where do you draw the line at when life starts? And then there's this
Right.
whole discussion around it. I think both sides have validity, but I don't know where you come to I don't know where you come to an understanding.
Right. I think where you draw the line is not having abortion bans outside of the Democratic National Convention, perhaps. Just maybe we could have drawn the line there. But anyway, one last thing from old Kamala, and this is gonna be kind of quick. Howard starts asking her about her husband and things, and I thought this was kind of interesting, and then we'll wrap it up.
Was it hard for you to make a love connection, to make a romance with Doug? Because I would think most men would be intimidated by you.
Fuck off. Are you insane?
Intimidated?
I gotta.
Well, yes. Jimmy.
I gotta get this out of me quick too. Look, and this is for the ladies out there, and I don't mean any disrespect, but I gotta say this: the whole strong, independent woman thing. I'm gonna tell you for a fact, the exception of controlling men. No one cares if anything, you being strong and independent is more attractive because that means I don't have to make choices for you. I don't have to tell you how your day goes. I don't have to dictate certain things for you. I have a hard time deciding what I fucking want to do for dinner or what I want to do on a Sunday. You think I want to make the choices for two people as well? If you're strong and independent, it means that with the exception of some choices that the two of us should come together and make, if you can make your decisions on your own and live your life and we can coexist in harmony, that's fucking fine. Look,
Right.
I don't, this idea that I want a dependent woman who's constantly depending on me to make choices for them all day, every day, it's mentally taxing and it's bullshit. It's stupid.
Oh, completely. And also, too, have you seen a relationship, like, who's more believable? Kamala and Doug or, like, Oprah and Stedman? Like, I think they're kind of neck and neck for believability. But anyway,
My husband, Doug, is one of the strongest, most self-actualized men I've known.
You loved him right away, or was it a slow build?
I did. Doug. So let me tell you about Doug. Doug grew up in Jersey.
Oh,
He worked for everything he had. We have a picture of him when he was employee of the month at McDonald's.
and you were at McDonald's.
I worked at McDonald's.
By the way, you can't leave here because I have questions about McDonald's.
Okay, I'll answer anything you have.
All right,
But
good, yeah.
so,
Jeez. Oops.
I mean, I don't know much about her husband, so I'm not really going to comment on that. I will say that if he did work for everything that he has, that's respectable. I know what it's like to come from nothing and you build yourself from the ground up. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I see nothing wrong with that at all. I do think it's really interesting that, look, this whole interview was supposed to humanize Kamala Harris, is definitely what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to take her out of the element and not discuss policy and not discuss talking points and arguments and just kind of sit down with her as a person and get to know her in that context. And if you're interested in that sort of thing, then there it is. It's a little over an hour long.
I would say interviews like that are fine. I think you can have an interview to where a presidential candidate or whoever it is, because they don't have to talk about their work life all the time. But the problem for that, like interviews like this, is that she's had them frequently, is just the softball stuff. If she had a hard hit, like if you have 12 hard hitting interviews and you get one like cushy interview, I won't have a problem with it. You had 12 interviews back to back of just, talking policy, having debate style-esque discussions about stuff. I think that's fine to have one. But when all you're having is softball interviews, of course no one's going to take you seriously. You're not being truly pushed on your ideas or anything.
Right, and that's kind of all that before Biden dropped out of the race, Howard Stern conducted the same style of interview with Biden. Smartless, if you know that podcast, with shit. Will Arnett and Jason Bateman, they had Obama, Biden, and Bill Clinton all on their show a few months ago, and they were just ball washing them. It seems like that's kind of the model now for the Democratic Party. I wouldn't be surprised if Kamala Harris doesn't pop up on a couple of more high-profile podcasts and things that are big in leftist spaces, because that's going to be the model. Donald Trump has been on the podcasting train for all of like the dude bro comedy shows and whatnot, because he knows that that is a lane of advertising that he can go down.
Yep.
Social media is the new way of campaigning. They're not necessarily hitting every single town anymore.
Yep.
But here is a brief reaction to what Howard Stern's old audience would have felt about the Kamala Harris interview.
Women.
Fuck. Oh, Christ.
Oh, shit. Hold on a second here. Turn that off. Oh, so I was going to show you Trump on Flagrant, but then I realized that can't do that. We can't do that on YouTube. We actually can't even show Trump at all on YouTube as far as live stream goes.
You want to bring up the TikTok lawsuit thing?
Oh, yes. So before we go, the last thing that I wanted to discuss.
So while he's doing that, there's a ton of states here in the U.S., including the state of Colombia, is filed a lawsuit against TikTok. And from the bare minimum I read, it was effectively I'm trying to think. It was basically saying that the platform wasn't safe for children, or something about children's safety and all this other stuff. And I'm going to preface what I'm about to say here, because I read through the article and I got the gist of what the lawsuit was about. But I have to preface what I'm going to say here by saying I am no fan of TikTok. I think TikTok is full of degenerate, talentless hacks. It's full of people that there's a trend of faking mental disorders. It's insane that I could make a TikTok account tomorrow and tell people that I'm a spicy schizo, and they would probably believe it. But I don't think that. Why is it TikTok's responsibility for kids to be on the platform? I don't understand this whole trend of we can't hold parents accountable. We have to hold these platforms accountable, because it reminds me of the same argument when it comes to like video games and whatnot. The whole violent video games thing. Well, children shouldn't be playing GTA. Well, who the fuck bought GTA for the kid? It's not like 8-year-old Timmy can go into the local GameStop and buy GTA San Andreas. Mom or dad has to go and get that for him. You know what I mean? It's just
right. And the algorithmic nature of TikTok is addictive for children. It generates all of these new trends and all these new challenges and etc. And it's really not good for them. And honestly, social media is not good for kids at all.
Of course.
But to close out here, our buddy, I looked it up. I think we are going to be all right. Our buddy Donnie T here. He decided not to go on 60 Minutes, but to come on Flagrant instead. And he's asked about who he thinks shot him. And I just wanted to play this segment because I thought it was kind of interesting.
Disperse it, but I'll give you something. So, first of all, I have great respect for the Secret Service and the guys that were with me. I went down and I did a good job going down because those bullets were winging over my head. If I would have been up for another couple of seconds, I also wouldn't have been here. But I didn't consider that as lucky as turning to the road at that one. It was like 1/16 of a second. Was the only time that I was safe, essentially. Right. If I would have gone a little further, I would have been hit. If I would have gone not as far, I would have been hit. I mean, I had like this little tiny moment. And the amazing thing is the sign is always on my left and it's always at the end. and I only use it 20% of the time, maybe even less than that.
And
This was
time
a
it's on the
chart.
right.
This was a chart on immigration
Yeah.
because I have the record. I did a great job in immigration. They are not doing too well right now.
Stay on the breaking news. Stay on the breaking news.
So here's the break. So
You know what I can say
Yeah, this
about Trump, though?
and you have
He
another
is-
show.
Trump is he is funny like a comedian's funny.
Yeah, and this will probably piss off some people that I could say it, but if I had to pick between having an interview with Trump or Kamala, I'm gonna have an interview with Trump. Even if we don't agree with stuff, I feel like it would just be a good time. I feel like having an interview with Kamala, I get thrown out of the room because I'm gonna be questioning her on policy. Trump just doesn't give a shit. I'm not saying it's always a good thing not having a filter, but I don't have to worry about offending the guy because he's just gonna he just goes with the
Right.
flow.
Well,
Like, I just,
2 episodes. Look, they get into a lot of policy. Trump is constantly on top of policy, wanting to discuss, wanting to keep himself in campaign mode. I'm not saying you even have to have a political conversation. I'm also not saying that Trump is necessarily the greatest guy on earth because we know that he's not. I'm just saying that the more entertaining interview, I'm going to fully agree with you. I just think Trump's a funny guy.
yeah.
Right? So this shooter had 3 or so cell phones.
Hmm.
The FBI's never gotten them opened.
Wow.
The other shooter, 3 apps, they call them. And I believe they were foreign-based apps, from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
They haven't opened them, and they're foreign-based. And you hear all about Iran, because I was rough with Iran, but I want to see Iran do great. I want to see Iran do great.
Yeah.
But I want to stop all the killing and all
Right.
this. And I was rough on Iran, and they supposedly have a hit on me. In fact, I think it takes great courage for you people to be interviewing me, because it could be now,
Yeah.
They
Well,
could
we
be
didn't know
right
that
now.
before we got in here.
No, if
before.
you would have known that, you might not have
Yeah,
done this.
yeah, exactly.
In fact, this is a good way of me getting the interview to be short.
Exactly.
Oh, and by the way, can we look at this here and see the diversity in this room and the fact that these 2 guys are not at all threatened by Trump being feet from them?
Yeah, I have noticed that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's going to say, okay, that's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Go
It's
see
been
my
great.
daughter.
Anyway, they have 3 apps, and foreign-based, 2 of them, maybe 3 of them are foreign-based. They haven't
Wow.
opened them yet. Why wouldn't you open them when you hear about Iran or when you hear about, foreign? Then the other one had 6 cell phones, and they haven't opened. Now, it's very hard to open a cell phone. Only Apple can do it in theory, unless you have somebody. But they had no problem getting the J6 people's cell phones open. They opened their cell phones very quickly. We have 2 countries in a way. What's happening here is very bad. It's very dangerous. We almost had one because
So Trump is saying that one of the shooters had 6 cell phones?
No, I'm thinking he's saying that like both the shooters, I think, together had 6 cell phones.
Oh, okay.
And
I
he's
had the greatest economy.
Because I know that the guy that attacked him on the golf course, he had a couple of phones.
yeah. So he's saying that
Yeah.
together they had 6 phones. Yes.
And that Matthew Thomas, whoever the fuck, I know he probably had several too.
Yeah.
In the history of our country, and people were coming together. We almost had one, but we really do have 2 right now, and it's a shame because I think we'll get them together. Success will bring us together, but they should get those phones opened. And, when there's an assassination attempt on a former president who's now, I'm proud to say, leading in all the polls against the Democrat, I don't know which one is running. You don't know what the hell's going on. I'm the only one
Jesus
that I run
Christ.
against 2. I run against 2 Democrats.
I don't know which one.
I
Oh,
think he is in campaign mode all the time.
But this is a first. We create a lot of firsts. Usually you run against somebody. Here I run. I had the debate. I was way up on him.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, let's put this is like with Dana White, a fighter. So you're fighting, and the one guy's getting killed. And they say, oh, that's okay. Let's put in another
Tag
fighter
him in.
to finish it off. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're fighting. You say, hey, wait a minute. I have a brand new fighter in here.
WWE.
I spent $150 million on beating Biden. And then all of a sudden I hear that they're going to overthrow him. It was a coup. I mean,
Yeah.
it really was. but I would like them to.
How would you like to know how he gets his hair nice and flat there on the top like that?
I want to know the secret because
I'm pretty sure it's combed in on either side and like it meets in the middle and it kind of weaves.
I will tell him this. If you tell me the secret of what makes your hair flat, I'll tell you the secret of what makes my hair naturally curl.
Well, you're just being a guinea is a good way to do that.
Hey.
To open up these apps and find out what's in there. And so he had six cell phones. Who has 6 cell phones?
Mhm.
Having 6 cell phones is weird. I have cell phones. If I ever have 2, it's like a lot.
Yeah.
He had 6 cell phones. Why does he have them? And why haven't they opened up those cell phones?
So if you had to
and
guess,
it's different. If you're a drug dealer, I think it's terrible in many ways, but I guess from another standpoint, Apple, the primary group.
All right. Anyway, he keeps going on about these cell phones, but I do find that interesting though that the shooter apparently had 6 cell phones, and they're not they haven't been opened yet.
Well, I think what he's also getting at is that when it came to the January 6th stuff, they opened up phones and they got records and logs immediately. But when it comes to this with his assassination attempts, there has been like we've had like dead like or dead weight on getting these phones open. And I think the argument he would make further is that if someone had made an assassination attempt against Biden, which I'm going to say for the record, might not like the guy, would still be fucked up. I feel like they would investigate that and find the perpetrator and all that in a heartbeat. And the media would have some piece out there just saying that they're a conservative alt-right or Nazi or MAGA supporter. Like, I don't like saying that, but when that's what they did with the first assassination attempt individual. They tried framing this guy as like like the way that they were trying to frame it was that this guy was like a conservative that was turning against the conservative party and everything. But then you do a deep dive into his background and you see that he donated to like Project Blue. He hasn't voted for any official, so it's like he's registered as a conservative, but he didn't what I don't know too many conservatives that are donating to Project Blue. And since he was a literal kid, he's got a fresh, like it was a blank slate.
Right,
So
right, and that was the weirdest thing is him being this kid who I guess was in community college or what have you, and he would go to school and in the full camo snowsuits and whatever. I mean, the whole thing is really strange, but I do find the fact that Trump would rather be hanging out with comedians than be dealing with the media on CNN. It kind of tells you all you need to know about the two worlds and where the demographics sit.
well, yeah, and I mean to be fair, he's been on 60 Minutes before. He's dealt with some hard-hitting interviews there, so him skipping an interview from 60 Minutes is fine because he's done interviews with them before. On top of that, it's 60 Minutes. It's not like yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's so passe at this point.
Yeah.
Well, hey Jim, we had a good time tonight. I think we will wrap it up with that. And I mean, yeah, I guess we will see in the coming weeks. Once all this election stuff is over, I hope that there is a whole fresh set of things to talk about. That's not going to be just Kamala or just Trump. But for now, it kind of seems like this is how the media is gonna go. Podcasts and YouTube and these platforms is where the campaigning is happening. And as a matter of fact, Donald Trump is having a rally in Madison Square Garden just days before the election. So there's going to be a lot to be said about that and the final debate that they'll allegedly have. But I kind of want to get away from the politics after this. I just thought it was really funny that Howard Stern, a guy that does limited dates anymore, is wasting his time with presidential candidates instead of just trying to do. I guess he knows that what the Stern show used to be is not anymore. So if he's going to hang around, he'll just come in, he'll talk to Bruce Springsteen, he'll talk to Biden, he'll talk to Kamala, and he'll sit out on the beach.
He's just making sure he can. He's just making sure he can keep his contract.
Right. That's really it at this point.
And like he became a corporate shell. It's if I do all of these things correctly, I'll be able to keep. Even though he could fucking retire at any given time that he wants to, but I understand. It's just it's kind that's why I think the last year. I think around 2015 is where I started to slowly phase away from Stern, and then once I reach like 2017, it's just like I'll watch clips of it. I can't watch.
Yeah, the show itself by then, the clips that they put up and the little 5-10 minute segments of the staffers still having fun with each other, that's bearable. But everything else that Howard's got going on now, it's such a far cry from the old style of the show.
Yeah.
Everything is scripted now, by the way. The entire show they're literally, Robin feels like she is soullessly reading off of a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Fred conveniently has the little doodads clipped up, all the sound bites. He has those ready to go. And then Howard just kind of generically spews whatever sat in front of him. It's really a depressing time in the show, and none of them need to be there anymore. They're just kind of there because why not? It's a lot of money. It's a couple of days a week,
Yeah.
But anyway, we will go ahead and wrap that up. It was a fun one tonight. Hopefully on Saturday, hopefully on Sunday, we can get a little bit more of a flow going. But we had a good show tonight, Jim, and I hope you have a good night.
You too, man.
Have a good one.